What's up, everybody? I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Justin's mom and I'm Kelly and we play video games together. I every once in a while I want to throw my name in there.
Well, and I never know what you're going to do, but I think it's the same for me. You never know how I'm going to intro the show because it's not like we have this. Other than like, "What's up, everybody? I'm Justin."
Yes,
That's like a pretty standard cue for us.
it is.
But you never know. Some days I might throw you off. Throw you some kind of curveball.
That's right.
But so full disclosure, we already
Yes.
recorded about. How long do you think we were going?
Probably about good 45 minutes.
No, I can't. I mean, we're always long-winded, but I'm not. I felt
Yes.
like it was at least 20 minutes of discussion, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
which is fine because I feel like the feelings that we have will come right back out when
Yeah.
we start discussing this game.
This is very true. But the person listening to this right now will never know that we recorded
Right.
those wonderful. They were like
Yeah, they were probably better.
I mean, Neil Druckmann himself would have been like riveted, you know.
Enamored and
Yeah.
retweeted and
Exactly.
played it every
He
night
would
before he
have
went to bed.
not just retweeted, he would have came to your house, mom. He'd be like, "Oh
Probably.
my god.
You know what?
What you said in that recording.
That was
Oh,
the whole what we were going for
yeah.
when we made this video game. And we are talking about The Last of Us 2, by the way.
Yes, yes, we are. And when this is your warning, we're gonna spoil the crap out of everything in The
Yes.
Last of Us Part Two. I just rolled credits a little bit ago. You rolled credits way earlier than I did
Yeah.
on June 29th. As of us recording this right now, it is Tuesday, July 7th. I'm just rolling the credits. I did pull up my screen.
Yes. You gonna brag about your trophies? Is that what you're fixing
I'm
to
bragging
do?
about my trophy. No, no. I did brag about my trophies a little bit in the previous recording, and I did beat your mom on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, okay, fine. That's all right.
We don't have the platinum just yet, but I have a feeling both of us will probably get the
I
platinum in
hope
this
so.
game. Yeah, it's the perfect platinum for the single player narrative driven gamers that also love exploring every nook and cranny of
Yes.
an environment.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's no like beat the game on insane crazy difficulty level.
Which because I can't do. I mean, I
I
am
can't do that shit now.
I played it on baby mode. I have stepped up to now I'm playing it on light plus,
Yeah.
light plus. But so yeah, if I had to platinum on super heavy duty, it wasn't going to happen.
No. Well, you saw me playing on medium. I was getting my ass handed to me
Yeah, you
quite
kind
often.
of were, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Do I need to teach you how to play this game? So you pulled up your screen, and how long did it take you to play it?
Rolled credits in 39 hours and 29 minutes.
That's what I was thinking. It was pretty darn close to 40 hours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what did you think originally? You thought this was what 25-hour game? Isn't that what you thought?
I had a coworker that rolled credits in 22 hours.
Well, come on, they don't have a life. They didn't
I'm,
do
I,
anything fun in this game.
I'm just like, was that physically possible?
They
I
didn't
mean,
enjoy it. They didn't enjoy it.
well,
Now, I would say they shouldn't count all the times that you stopped to take photos,
they
because
don't.
that was a good 10 hours worth of stuff.
I have got some amazing photos, no doubt about that. Yeah, so I just putting my playthrough out there.
Yeah.
39 minutes, 39 hours, 29 minutes. I got 210 of the collectibles in my first run. I believe this is what's crazy. I think there's 260 or 270 collectibles out there.
Okay, that was what I was wondering about, because I couldn't find that anywhere.
I don't quote me on that. I read that in one of the many
Yeah.
walkthroughs and guides out there.
Mhm.
I don't have all of them, so I can't tell you like what the actual number is. And I finished with 47% of the trophies.
Good job.
In my first playthrough. Yeah,
Good job.
thought that was pretty good.
No, that is good.
I missed a couple of the downtown Seattle. You missed that in your first playthrough, but
Yeah.
you got it in your subsequent playthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm all in all, I'm pretty pleased with how my playthrough went. I will say though, and this was what I was talking to my coworkers about today. One of them's playing through it right now. One of them's already beat it. And this is outside of the coworker that beat it within 22 hours. I don't know what the other coworker beat it in, but I know my one coworker friend, he's taking it extremely slower than both of us. He's about a third through the game, and yeah,
Is he napping?
I don't know what he's doing, but what I told them, and I kind of wish I could, I wish I could go back and experience it for the first time all over again in some way. It's not always. I wish that I would have rushed through it the first playthrough to really truly like experience the story where every beat was fresh.
Yes.
As opposed to like how slow and methodically I moved through the game, exploring all those nooks and crannies of every like house and stuff. Because it made it where, we started this game on June 19th. You finished, you still finished it pretty quick, 10 days.
I did. That was pretty quick, given the fact that I hadn't been gaming at all lately because I hadn't had time. So that I carved out the time I thought was amazing. But you're right on that, because this game, because of the way that the story is told, it is hard to remember what happened with the other character. And I did have a hard time keeping up with, and especially when I started playing through with you on share play.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure who was already got dead because I couldn't remember what happened when during the story, so I had to be very quiet.
Yeah. You did a nice job, and it was a lot of fun, like having you experience those moments with me for the first time. It was your second time seeing them through, and I was happy that we got to do that, because so that was kind of a refresher for you to have this conversation, together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That you got to like. And, you technically rolled credits with me.
I just did.
Well.
I just finished. We played for 4 days straight, and so it is very fresh in my mind, which is good, because I got pissed all over again about some of the things.
Tell me all
happened.
About
why I'm so ticked off.
Yeah, why you were, because I feel like that there were lots of moments in this game where you were just super pissed and you couldn't wait to tell me how pissed you were.
Oh God, there was so many moments. Obviously we talked immediately following Joel's death.
Yeah.
And I was extremely sad about that. So sad. But I got over being angry because I felt like they needed to do it for the story. Yeah. So I moved on. But what I've never moved on from the fact that we went for this whole game of the first game, and through several years of being in love with Ellie, and
7 years of being in love with Ellie,
and who we felt like she was.
Yes. And
they kind of flipped that on us, because she's not a good person in this game.
I didn't like that either. The fact that they, in what I think, they were manipulating the player, the person behind the sticks.
And I am never a fan of being manipulated. I don't like that.
No, I don't either. It's like, it's one of those things. I understand it, why they did it for the story that they were trying to go for. With introducing this character of Abby, and her whole backstory, and how her story was intertwined with Joel and Ellie's story, and the fact that, well, for their story to be intertwined, and for you to like Abby, that automatically meant that you had to somehow hate Ellie, which made no sense to me.
That made no sense at all. That didn't have to happen. Yeah. I needed to be able to still love Ellie so that I would feel even more conflicted about liking Abby.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. And that was the thing where with Ellie, we knew, like, this whole revenge story, this whole revenge driven actions that Ellie was going, that Ellie was partaking in this game, just in the actions that she was taking alone throughout the first half of the game, through Seattle Day 1, 2, and 3, just killing so many of these wolves characters that you don't know nothing about them. All you know is that the Owen and Mel and Manny and a few other of those characters were a part of Joel's death, and so that's all she had to go on, and she's just killing all these people in order to avenge Joel's death. So that's not the characteristics of a good human being, to do all these things. So now, in that right there, you can already you already have these, like, okay, Ellie's she's not doing the right thing. Obviously, us as players, we have such an affinity for Joel and Ellie. We're like, fuck yeah, we're gonna murder all these people.
Yes, and I couldn't wait to have you play as Abby for a while.
Yeah.
Because I remember you just you're like, fuck Abby, and I was ahead of you, and I'm thinking, I can't wait till he has to change his story on that, because I knew you would.
Yeah. And I did. And definitely, I will go on record. I love Abby's character.
Yeah.
I love Lev. I loved Owen, Mel, Manny.
Know. Owen was so great. He was so great, and I loved his relationship with Abby, and I wanted to see them have a happy ending.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Mel was all knocked up and stuff, but they could have raised the baby, helped her raise the baby. He didn't have to stay with her.
Yeah.
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 But so that was sad. And I get what Ellie was doing. And I know that she didn't know. She didn't know why Joel was killed. I don't remember. Wow, did the computer just die on us?
No, it didn't die on us, but that was so awkward. Okay. I was like, where did she go?
You went super slow-mo and your eyes were blinking super slow.
Yeah, by the way, I mean, obviously you just see a static image of our faces. We were not prepared to be on camera or anything. We were looking
raggedy, tired already.
Yeah, tired already. Yeah, so that was such an interesting moment for again, we recorded this earlier, and my computer just completely crapped out on me in mid sentence.
Yes,
and I was like, damn it!
Shit, no, not again. And I'm just watching your face, going, oh shit, it's doing it.
Yeah, because if it did happen again, it's like one of those okay,
it was great. That was fun.
You know what you do? You just record. Like the game? It was cool. What did y'all think about it? Write it down in the comments, and we'll discuss. That's the extent of that video.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back to your point on Abby and Ellie, and the fact of you feeling manipulated as the viewer, the player, and again, yeah, it was just like this weird thing, because I wrote down the note of how. In Ellie's journal in the Santa Barbara area, where it said fuck the fireflies. She had that note in their journal, and again, she did group them all together, where it was the fireflies, the scars, the wolves, the rattlers. She had lumped them all together, and it's one of those things. I'm like, wait a sec, the whole goal of The Last of Us 1 was to get Ellie to the fireflies. Ellie adored the fireflies. She looked at them as superheroes.
There was a rift between her and Joel
in this game because she wasn't able to be sacrificed, to fulfill her destiny of this human that's immune to the virus, and she was so pissed at Joel about that, and to then have this thing where, again, it was never about the fireflies in the first day 1 through day 3 of Ellie's story, but then all of a sudden, she's like, fuck the fireflies, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I get that Abby had affiliation with them, but
it was weird. It was weird because I don't know that how much maybe Tommy had told her. I don't remember that Abby went there because of the fireflies. I don't remember even why she was even bringing up fireflies at this point.
Yeah, no, that's that one. I know that. I think there was some notes about it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm blanking on that too. Definitely down in the comments. Just refresh our memory on that,
Yeah.
because I'm just. It was just one of those things where it just felt like so out of left field, to just kind of reverse like how much she liked the fireflies. Like obviously she, well, yeah, and actually no, I don't really understand that element of the story
no, I
at
didn't
all. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
I don't think we have got to discussing the very last part of the game though.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that we are forced to, we've got these two girls that now we care so much about their characters, and the last thing is, as a player, that we want, I feel, okay, there are some people out there that were just more than thrilled for Ellie to take a knife to this girl.
Yeah, to kill Abby.
But I think that's just a very small minority of people. I think a lot of people had a real hard time making that happen. I didn't want to fight her.
No, not at all. I didn't want that to happen. And I mean, you saw it through my playthrough. I kept trying to. I'm just like, whenever because you get Abby down, and it's like, it's that same action that you do throughout the game, where you get the last, like, one of the wolves or scars or rattlers of the group that you're trying to fight off, and you get them on their hands and knees and they beg for their life. And you have to choose whether or not to just go ahead and end them. And so I thought that's what that action was, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna strike Abby. Now obviously I didn't realize that it just triggered another cutscene.
It was gonna make you do it.
Yeah, it was gonna make you do it. Yeah, I'm with you. I did not want to kill Abby. My moment of being pissed was whenever the fact that Ellie can't stay at the farm with Dina, because I'm just like, oh no, this is it. This is like the moment of happiness. I was completely because we had this conversation where I had read a comment on like a Facebook post, a YouTube video post, something, and where somebody was just like, screw Abby, like screw Neil Druckmann, blah blah blah. Like he was like, this person was so pissed, and they were like, letting freaking Abby kill Joel and Ellie, and so I thought Ellie was gonna die in this game. And in the theater, I'm just like, fuck, I've got to kill Ellie. Like, this is bullshit. Like, I am not doing this. And then that moment passed, and everything was okay. Like, Lev is telling Abby to stop, don't do this. Ellie's like, no, don't kill Dina. She was not a part of this. Like, let her go, please. Like, take me. And I'm like, oh, that person was totally like, just was one of those people that is just like, screw this game, blah blah blah. Like, and it didn't happen. But then like the Santa Barbara stuff like started back, and like Ellie's like, nope, I've got to finish this. I've got to do this for Joel's memory. And I'm like, shit, Ellie's gonna freaking die. This is pissing me off. Like, I don't want Ellie to die. I'm perfectly cool with like, boom, story ends. They're at the farm. Who knows what happened to Abby and Lev? They're good.
Okay, so do you feel like that would have been a great ending?
Would it have been a great ending? The only thing that I didn't like about that ending, and we talked about this while you were watching me via the share play, was the fact that they made Tommy such an asshole in the way that he was treating Ellie, and Dina as well. Like the fact that which I was so, whenever he came in the scene, I was like, oh my god, freaking Tommy's alive, my boy. Yes.
No, that's not what you said. You said, wait a minute, what's going, Tommy?
Well, yeah, I did. I was surprised that Tommy was still alive. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
But
It was
yeah,
a surprise for me. I mean, I was
oh,
totally blown away because I thought he was dead.
yeah, I thought
And
he
so
got shot
then,
right in the face. I mean,
yeah, right in the
which
eyeball.
which he did. Yeah,
Uh,
My boy Jesse, didn't make
I
it.
know.
R.I.P. Man, love Jesse. That dude
I
was
loved Jesse. I loved Manny. They did an amazing job with all
Yara.
the oh yeah, all these characters were you immediately fell in love with them.
Yeah,
Owen, God, I just loved Owen.
yeah,
And I so, you know, so there's so many great things about this game. Just the game is really great, but there was a point at it that I was never going to play it again. I was so mad. I
yeah.
just the idea of making me like this other character and more than I liked my character that I've loved for so long really bugged me.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but
I completely agree. I mean,
and
that's
then I ended and I started immediately
yeah,
back on the game.
yeah, exactly. You're like,
Apparently, I
I
don't get convicted
am
very well.
never playing this. Okay, we're back in. Let's get it going.
I was like, God, where's my convictions? I mean, I'm just terrible.
Yeah.
But
So tell me though, like overall, Last of Us Part Two. What do you think?
I thought, okay, this is visually, this is stunning.
Yeah.
And the story is amazing, and you totally get into it. And it was too long. The game was too long. And
Hmm.
for those words to ever come out of my mouth is just bizarroville. So I thought it went on too long because you could not keep up with what had happened with the other player.
Yeah, and I think I truly feel that this game is a victim of the time that it was released in as well, because obviously the world events outside of your home, well, actually no, inside your home, but outside of the
Hmm.
video game landscape is very bleak, and just like somewhat, not, it's not great right now. And so this game being so bleak, depressing, very difficult subject matter to to get through during this time period, I think contributed to the fact that that's why it felt even longer.
And I probably would have been better had I always had a companion in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's weird, but those times when I was all by myself, that's when it felt like the game was stretching on too long for me.
Yeah, I agree. The Ellie stuff was probably the hardest to get through.
Hmm.
The Seattle day 1, 2, and 3. Like once you left Dina
Hmm.
at the at the theater, that's when I'm like, oh man, like that the game got really rough,
Yeah.
to want to play in like large chunks of time, and that's
And,
why.
and I was playing like 10 hours at a time
Yeah,
sometimes.
you were
And
playing
I,
like heavy
right.
heavy chunks
And
of it at a
yes,
time.
and I think that was very depressing.
Yes, yeah, the game is, there's no doubt about it. It's very depressing. I mean, I forget what Neil Druckmann said about this game compared to the first one, but he more or less, this one ain't happy.
Yes.
And there's no doubt about it. This one was not happy.
And that was part of the reason I wanted to play with you during the share play,
Yeah,
because there were parts of it for me that I would have loved if you were hanging out with me while I was playing.
yeah.
And so I just thought, there's some scary, awful shit
Oh no,
that's
there's
going
some.
on. So,
Yeah.
y- you know, company is good.
No, the company is definitely good. I mean, they took this game to levels of like horror, scares,
Mm-hmm.
fear, definitely unlike the first game. It was
Right.
on a whole nother level. Whenever you're going into the to get the medicine for Yara, because she's got the hurt arm.
Yeah.
Whenever you're having to go down into the emergency room and the ICU and all of that, and like That was some scary shit.
No,
Yeah.
God, I thought, maybe I should just stop.
Yeah. No,
It's,
that.
diaper up before you play because that was scary. Um, but I'm curious because I want to know which one you felt was more impactful, the first or the second game. And it's not really fair to compare them to each other, but
No.
I am anyway.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not fair because they are drastically what I feel like are different games.
Yes.
I mean, I can tell you which one I enjoyed more.
The first one?
The first one, yes. I enjoyed the first one more, but I don't think that the second is any less impactful than the first. I will
See,
say that.
I will argue with you there.
Okay.
Because I don't know that I will be thinking about this game, the part two, like I did with the first one. The first one stayed with me.
Do you think that it stayed with you because of the way that it ended, though, where it left it
Yes,
very
exactly.
open-ended?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, I think that's the thing, though. I mean, uh, whether or not they do a Last of Us Part 3 remains to be seen. But I feel like the reason why that one like stayed with you for so long is because there were so many unanswered questions that ending gave you. This one, in my opinion, there's really no unanswered questions. Like, sure, do I wonder like what happened to Lev and Abby
Right.
after Ellie told them to go? Yes, I definitely wonder about them. Do I wonder did Ellie go back to Jackson, and is that where Dina went back to? Is she going to go back and be with Dina and Potato? So I do
I mean,
wonder those things,
I
but like that's
I'm
not really much
hope
to wonder.
it's not. It's as far as deep, meaningful conversations with yourself or with others,
Yeah.
those aren't the things. And I'm a little sad the way that they left us with, she doesn't have Dina, she
Yeah.
doesn't have Potato, and she doesn't have two fingers to play a fucking guitar.
Yeah.
That part really hurt. Why did you have to take that away?
I mean, I think that in some way, and maybe it's exactly what they meant, that like that signified the fact that she was moving on past Joel. That obviously he will always be a part of her memory, but not something that's like right near the surface all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so she won't even have the guitar to play to remind him of him.
yeah,
And she
which
left the guitar there, which I thought was kind of shitty.
yeah, I didn't really
So,
understand. No, I
yeah.
understand.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
she was supposed to teach Potato how to play.
Yeah,
So
right.
um, I don't know. I don't know if the game will stick with me like the Last of Us one did. I mean, I think there was a stronger connection with Ellie and Joel, no doubt about it. Now, I will say I did grow an extreme. I'm blanking on the words, but like
Affinity?
affinity for Lev
Hmm.
and Abby.
Hmm.
I really like the dynamic between the two of them, and we talked about this during while we were doing the
Right,
share play. Is that
right.
it? I think the reason why we like that so much is because it felt so familiar to us,
Yes,
because that was like the Joel and
it
Ellie
was.
relationship in one.
Right.
And so yeah, it's a weird game because on the one hand I'm like, oh my god, this game was just incredible. Like the attention to
Hmm.
detail, like the environments and the world that they built, and all these characters and their backstories, and the fact that while it was weird the way that they told the story with going back and forth, and then like and then like showing all of Ellie's Seattle day 1 through 3, then going away from her completely, and all of Abby's day 1 through day 3. But what it will do, I feel like, for subsequent playthroughs, and so what we talked about while you were watching, is just that it's all those characters that were a part of Abby's story. Now whenever I play through again and I'm Ellie and I'm like, fuck, I just killed Alice. Like when Alice like comes at me in the aquarium,
I mean,
Alice.
You know, it was a super bummer to know that we killed a pregnant woman, but we didn't know anything about her. We didn't know that I didn't really like her.
No. You still felt bad, obviously. Like
it was terrible.
Well,
it was terrible for Ellie.
Yeah, well, and that's those moments. Yeah, for Ellie, it was just gut wrenching. Which again, that's why I'm like, and I guess maybe it was the fact that obviously Abby comes in and kills Jesse in the theater. So I could totally see, because again, just like Yara, Jesse was. They were, those were the real ones. You know, they didn't.
Good heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. Oh, Jesse was so great. Yeah. Nothing bad about it. Well, I mean, obviously he probably had done some bad things, but we don't really know.
No, but it seemed like he only did the things like to truly protect his tribe of people. Like it wasn't like, it didn't seem like he actively sought it out, as much as.
I mean, because like Owen was a super great guy, and I loved his character, but he did.
Oh, he did a lot of terrible stuff to the Seraphites, the Scars.
Yeah. Well, and Abby was one of the most notorious Scar killers.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. I mean, I will say the one person that was definitely the worst in the game.
Okay, who was the worst? Who?
Isaac.
Oh, Isaac was a son of a bitch.
I'd have to say, he to me was the worst. It felt like it. Maybe I'm misjudging Isaac, but
maybe on your next playthrough you'll just get this deep feeling for him.
Yeah, because I will say that when you read all the notes that the Seraphites are leaving, they don't seem like. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just like thinking of Yara and Lev, so I think of them more fondly than I do like the Wolves and the Rattlers. Right. Obviously,
everybody was
Rattlers.
bad.
Actually, the Rattlers are the worst.
They're the worst.
Let me correct that. Rattlers worst.
But yes, they were terrible. They were horrible.
They were I mean, the fact that you get to the end and you see Abby and she is like tied up, and I mean she is a shell of her former self. Like. And Ellie was the same way. Like how thin Ellie had gotten toward the end of the game.
But for Ellie, it was, the whole PTSD of Joel dying, because obviously she was living a very good life with Dina. Obviously, I mean there was plenty of food. They had a herd of sheep. They had the garden. I mean, so their life was really good when you compare it to Abby, Abby was, her life had gone to total shit. Yeah. And I can't even imagine the things that Abby went through at the hands of those people.
The Rattlers, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I mean that's. I was so happy to see, whenever Ellie comes up to her and sees her. Tied up like that, chained up like that, and just like the shock on her face of like fuck, like.
And for a second, you think that's the end right there. That's all there will be to this relationship. They're gonna.
I thought Ellie was gonna die on the beach. I thought I truly even to that last little moment I literally thought that was gonna be the end in terms of again, I thought Ellie had she had learned the lesson whenever we first go to the farm, but they're like, nope, we got to make sure to really teach this lesson. But I thought that she was gonna kind of like just kind of fall down on her knees, and you kind of like see as Abby and Lev leave on the boat. Oh, and Ellie dies because of her.
So you
her
don't
wound.
right, so you don't even know. Yeah, which I mean would have been
No,
also
I wouldn't-
interesting.
It would have been interesting, but The Last of Us Part 3, it needs to have the cure. Because or at least from my perspective, I feel like that's where we end the story. Because obviously Neil Druckmann has to be a fan of The Walking Dead. There was so many elements that were pulled. It felt like directly from The Walking Dead. The way that Abby kills Joel was very reminiscent of how Negan kills Glenn in the comic and Glenn and Abraham in the TV show. So I'm like, man, this is awfully similar. The way that the Seraphites use the whistles,
that whistling,
just like the Saviors.
Yeah, and for me, it struck terror in me just because I'd already been conditioned for that to be a terrible thing for me.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then not the Seraphites, the Rattlers, in the way that they chained up the infected around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Was again a thing
like
pulled,
Negan.
Yeah, pulled from the Saviors. So, but that being said, like the similarities are definitely there. They're definitely there with Rick and Carl, Joel and Ellie.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But the one thing that The Walking Dead never did was really like discuss or broach the cure.
Right.
And so, and I'm not saying that that's like, I don't even know if that would be the best story. I have no clue. But I feel like
they can't do what they just did to us again.
No, no. And I think that's the only way. I mean, again, I'm sure that they have a million different ways they could do it. But as I'm thinking right now, I do want to see, at least from my perspective, I want to see Ellie, Abby, and Lev in The Last of Us Part 3, if there is a Last of Us Part 3. And we know that Abby and Lev were looking for the fireflies. Right. That's where they were headed. And we know that the fireflies were the only faction that was looking for a cure.
Right.
And so I still think that may be Ellie's ultimate destiny.
Right.
Is to provide this cure.
Yeah. Well, shit, I'm not even going to need to play 3. You just solved it.
Well, I mean there's a lot of pieces in between to make it interesting. That's for sure. But I don't know. I don't know if Ellie's ever going to be ultimately
she's never
happy.
No. I just don't think she's ever going to be right.
Yeah.
She's just not, unfortunately. I mean, she had it all.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she had
Dina's hot.
Yeah,
Dina's hot. That farmhouse and all the stuff and the baby and life was good, but I mean she was I guess you can't help what keeps you up at night, the nightmares.
Yeah, no, this is true. I still don't feel like you've answered the question though.
Which part?
I don't know if you're ducking the question or maybe you actually have already answered it. I know I don't think I personally have, but did you like The Last of Us Part 2 as a game?
Yeah, no, I did.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoyed is the wrong word to play, but yeah. I blasted through it for the most part, and I started right back up again.
Yeah,
So
and you're
to
like
me, that
15
speaks,
hours into second
yeah,
playthrough,
into
right?
my second playthrough, and I would probably be nearly done, except that I've been playing
With me.
with you.
Yeah.
So, um, so I mean, that to me speaks to how, you know, to the way I felt about it.
Yeah, you're like, it's like, do I have problems? Yes, but man, I sure can't quit you.
Right, exactly. It's that relationship. You just, I wish I could quit you, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the game was just, you're right. The attention to detail, holy shit. The sounds alone, we talked so much about
Hmm.
how many hours have I spent talking to you about just the sound effects,
Yeah.
you know, um, just the game is really good. And I don't understand why people are I understand having heated conversations about it,
Yeah.
but just purely just throwing hate out there and saying this game sucks and fuck Naughty Dog, fuck Neil Druckmann. I don't get that.
No, I don't understand that at all. I mean, the fact that I don't know what the user score is on Metacritic right now, but I mean, it was like at a 3 or something at one point. May have been even lower than that. I think it may
Really.
have settled out at like around a 4.5 like a week or so ago. But
And so did those people play the game is my question.
well, that's the thing. Like it had immediately had like a 2, I think, the day of release or something. I'm just like,
Yes, after they killed Joel.
yeah, like how could you even like you see this? Um, hmm. Well,
I feel like you liked it.
oh no, I loved the game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a masterpiece of a game. You're right about the like enjoyment factor. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was very very dark, very
Hmm.
depressing. So I don't know if I could say like I really enjoyed my playthrough of The Last of
Hmm.
Us Part Two, but I did love it, and now knowing where the journey ends in The Last of Us Part Two, I am very excited about playing through it again.
See, and I think that's how I picked it up immediately because I mean, up until that very last little moment,
Yeah,
I was hating on it.
yeah. Oh,
I mean, not hating on the game overall, but I was so pissed off at
yeah.
what they made me do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah,
That's it. I'm going to finish it just because I like to finish games.
yeah. But I'm
And
never coming back.
I'm
And
never coming back.
yeah, no, I feel the same way. There was, yeah, they did have a lot of moments, but again, even though we did say up top that like I felt like that, and I think we both feel the same way. It felt like somewhat of a manipulation. It still had the desired effect, I think, of what they wanted.
Right.
I do think that they maybe could have got to that desired effect a little bit differently than what they did, but nonetheless, it still had its impact.
Well, I mean, I realize that in storytelling, you've got to do some level of manipulation. I just don't like it to be very, very blatant. And I feel like there was some,
Yeah, just out of character for yeah.
right.
It's like
That's
one
the
of those
part I
things
don't
like
like.
you have this character. This character is an extreme badass, smart as a whip, and then like a scene later, they're like the zombies in front of them, and they're just like ha, 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 laughing at it, like making these stupid clown
Yeah,
faces in its
right.
face, and then it rips their face off.
Yeah.
You're like,
Uh-huh.
what? No,
Wait, why would you do that?
that
Yeah.
character's like, Mr. Military Man,
Yeah.
like super
Uh-huh.
trained and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's the stuff that's totally out of character that I don't enjoy.
yeah,
But you're right. It had the effect that made me, it was when we went into it, we knew that this game was all about everybody's perspective.
yeah,
Everyone thinks that they're good. Everyone else is bad. So, but we're all, I mean, it's just all the shades of gray. No one is truly, truly bad except for the Rattlers.
yeah. Except for the
And
Rattlers.
so, and even then, they were like, "Oh, Ethan." They
Yeah.
got Anne.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I don't care about Anne. I
I
definitely,
loved that. I
I,
loved that they added names. I loved that.
yeah, no, well, see that again, that was what is so cool about it, and that's why I didn't understand it. There was like an article from some site that was kind of like bashing it, which they were saying like, I get it, we're doing terrible things, like I don't need to have like these characters like scream their name,
Oh, I
to make me
loved.
feel worse about the fact that they kill like that I'm killing them, um, but it for the second playthrough, it does make a difference because there was literal like there's characters as you're playing through Abby's story that you go up and talk to that Ellie freaking murders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like,
Right.
it does matter like that they
Yeah.
have
Mm-hmm.
names and they talk and
Uh-huh.
like
Right.
and I just not only that, but it adds another level of immersion that just you don't get in most games. So
Obviously, if you're going through some little settlement and you're killing the players, they're gonna scream out each other's name.
yeah,
That's more realistic, and I loved that they added that. I thought it was great. It did make me laugh just a teeny tiny little bit. Okay, maybe more than a little. You and I were laughing about it,
oh
but
well, I mean, we were laughing during that last little bit of the game as we're taking out rattlers when I'm
yeah.
like I'm hitting them with like explosive tipped arrows and just blowing
I
their
know,
legs
God, but
off. I'm like,
that was fun, and it's sad how much we laughed.
yeah, yeah,
But
that was
but
definitely great. I was like, I didn't know if the game was like about to end, but I was like, we are gonna start using some of the
yes, use
most
all that ammo up.
yeah, because I with Ellie I always play so like so sneak
Stealth.
yeah so much
Hmm.
stealth with Ellie and I'm just like not right now because
Yeah, don't save it.
I got all these cool
Hmm.
shit. I'm definitely about to blow them up. So um well, do you have do you and I know that there's a million other things that we can talk about with this
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
and I would love to continue talking about them. Part of me, I'm just like, what do we want to talk about that we haven't discussed like in detail? Um,
And maybe we put those notes down and we don't have all this conversation in one 4 hour podcast.
oh,
You
what
know?
you don't want to do that? You want to
Oh,
do?
I love doing that. That's fine by me. But as far
Yeah,
as for anybody else that might be interested in the conversation,
yeah,
you know, because I feel like, well, like I said, I was just waiting. I could not wait for you to finish the game so
yeah,
we could have these conversations because I've been holding so much back.
yeah.
So,
How do you? There's one thing I do want to ask you. How do you? How do you feel about that last scene that we got with Ellie and Joel?
um, I kind of, I mean, I appreciated it,
Yeah,
to know that because we actually talked about it at some point that, oh my God, those were the last words that Ellie had to Joel, telling
yeah,
him, "You're an asshole.
yeah. At
Stay out,
the party or whatever they
right,
were
stay
doing.
out of my business."
Yeah,
So I like knowing that there were little pockets of intimate conversations that they had where they did show that they had love for each other, and it wasn't just this leaving us with this feeling of why was Ellie such an asshole to Joel.
yeah, yeah. If we wouldn't have gotten that, that would have definitely stunk.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it was so great getting all those little
Oh God. The
backstory moments.
flashbacks,
Yeah,
holy shit.
the flashbacks were so good. How did
Oh my God.
yeah,
That museum
yeah,
thing, I could play that over and over again. And I mean, God, I took so much video, and I know you did too, taking so many pictures of
yeah,
just the two of them, and Ellie got this stupid little grin on her face the whole time, and Joel's just kind of sitting back, watching, and he's just so pleased. And I loved the whole idea that, I mean, they really became the, they became family.
yeah.
And and families do get mad at each other. So I mean, it's perfectly normal for a teenager to tell a parent you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You just don't want that to be the last words.
No, and especially in such a, visceral, terrible.
Oh God, hopefully none of us ever have to
See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, nobody deserves that. That's for sure. Yeah. What's that?
I'm just wondering, do you feel like because I didn't watch it the first time, the whole Joel scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had to look away. I did watch it the second time, and it wasn't as completely horrible as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I had looked at some of the concept art, and it was much worse than the concept art. They were going to take it even way worse.
Oh wow! Glad they didn't.
Yeah.
It was bad enough on it as it was.
Okay. All right. That's why I was curious if you felt like they needed to take it further.
No, God, no. I thought just the sheer shooting his leg off with the shotgun, basically,
that
was extremely rough. I mean, so in your subsequent playthrough, were you like, yeah? How did you feel?
I didn't cry like I did the first time, but I mean, I can't imagine that too many people cried the way I cried.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was stupid cry. It was a dumb cry.
But even outside the crying aspect of it, like, how did you feel about Abby in that moment? Were you still like, I'll murder you?
Not as bad.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, I knew who she was by that point. I knew why she did it. And
you
at
saw,
that point,
you had met Jerry, and Jerry was this wonderful
he was
dad.
Great. I mean, he was great. He was smart. He was trying to change the world, and shit. Joel didn't have to kill him, even though Jerry kind of put himself in a bad spot there, and it's just bad situations all the way around. It was just rough all the way around. But no, I didn't have that pure hatred for her the second playthrough.
Yeah, I was curious, like I'm curious how I will feel during that
me
part.
too.
Because I mean, seeing that scene with Joel at the end, I mean, just it makes you get so emotional, because you love Joel so much, and you love Joel and Ellie so much.
I was trying because there was a couple of times that I was having an issue with trying not to cry during your playthrough.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I don't, I got to hold it together. I'm here for Justin. Yeah. I'm here for him.
Got to be strong for him.
So
when he's crying over there.
Yeah, right. So
no, I definitely wanted to cry during that Joel scene. It was just it's just so weird. Now that the game is, now that we've rolled the credits on the game, and yes, obviously it's a video game character, so we can like go back to him, and I say we, like Naughty Dog can go back to his character, and show him in some form or fashion. I'm definitely looking forward to like replaying the game and getting that early moment of where you get to play as Joel.
Yeah.
I certainly I'm just gonna miss that character. More so just miss that relationship. No,
I mean, it was one of the best.
Yeah, it was by far one of the best, and like so getting to see that moment, and like getting to see Joel, like how he was crying because Ellie had forgiven him, and yeah, that was,
Joel had turned into just the
best.
He had. I mean, he was great.
Yeah.
And hot as hell.
I'm just glad for you that all those images kind of turned out to be a bunch of BS.
Yes, he wasn't all gray and haggardy, and he was fine.
Yeah,
fine. He looked so good.
He did look good, and he was definitely such a better dude
Yeah.
than he ever was. After the death of Sarah. I remember that. I can't remember if it's because I've been listening to the podcast, that their Last of Us
Yes.
podcast as well. And again, if you somehow watch our videos and you haven't listened to any of those podcasts, go
You
search it
definitely
out.
should, yeah.
They're really good. But that, like, I think it was Tess that had, and I think they discussed this in the first episode, how Tess had mentioned like that they're horrible people. Said that to Joel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wasn't anymore. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
The fact that
Well,
how he
the way he took Abby in.
immediately, and I think that's what killed you so much. Like, even regardless of knowing that he killed Jerry and everything, but he had changed, and I don't think. Now, he did say in that moment he would have done it all over again.
Yep.
He would have done everything.
And I loved that.
Yeah, I do as well, because I mean that's what Ellie meant to him.
Yep. And I don't think he was bad for killing Jerry. He wasn't bad for killing him. He was trying to get Ellie, and they were standing in his way. And I would have killed Jerry too. So it's not that.
Yeah.
That's not the thing that made Joel a bad person. That's just what made this whole shitstorm interconnect.
Yes. Which stinks.
Yep.
In a way, because we would still have Joel.
And then, maybe Ellie and Abby would have met, and they would have been big buds.
Yeah, I definitely think that they would have been, for sure. Yeah. Well,
we can talk about it some more, Justin. This doesn't have to be the end of Joel because we're not going to talk about it anymore.
We will talk about Joel exclusively
yes,
in the next video.
I say we do nothing but we start a podcast that's just about Joel.
Just about Joel.
The life and times of Joel.
Oh, no, I mean, I think you got the perfect podcast name, Just About Joel.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a great podcast name. All right, well,
when we stop recording tonight, are you going to immediately get on the game and start playing again?
No, I think I would like to, but I think for my own mental,
for your sanity.
Yeah, for my own sanity,
you need to go.
Like emotional clarity. I need to give it a break.
Well, we talked about this. You were talking about going and playing Uncharted, and Uncharted, it's just Joel. Yeah. Nathan Drake is just Joel, and so that's cool. That's why how I have this huge crush on Nathan Drake and Joel, and they go in together for me. They're the same dude.
Yeah.
So that's, you go play as Nathan Drake for a little while, and be Joel carefree.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, I think that's what I need, just because. That was an emotionally draining.
Oh yeah.
Game. Unlike anything else that I've ever played, but definitely I'm just like, okay, I feel, even though I want to go back really badly and do the new game plus, and get all my weapons, and I do want to, I would really like to platinum this game, because I feel like they put so much love and detail and craft and attention into this game, and
this is a nice thing for them.
Yeah, and as a gamer, I'm like, I feel like I owe it to them.
Yep.
To platinum the game, see everything that they wanted us to see, do everything that they wanted us to do, and truly like take in the full Last of Us Part 2 experience. And like that's as a gamer, that's our tip of the hat of like, we love the shit out of your game.
Right.
We platinumed it. I mean, we also like bought the collector's edition, and all that kind
And
of
I
stuff.
think like two versions of because I couldn't wait for my collector's edition to come in,
Yeah,
so I was like,
exactly.
I'm buying the digital one. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean it's just yeah.
yeah. So
So we did give them lots of money.
we did, they did, and I still think that they deserved it. No,
I think they earned every penny.
yeah. I thought it was at the end of the day, all faults aside, and again, these are subjective faults in my opinion.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, because like if you look at any like objective faults, not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, this game was insane. Every little detail of it was insane. Gameplay, sound, uh, visual fidelity, yeah, gameplay mechanics, everything. So, um, yeah, it was great.
I thought so too.
Okay,
So that's like four thumbs up
you did.
from the old ass casuals, right?
That's true. Where does it rank on your favorite games of all time?
Oh,
This is my last question to you
okay.
to
The
close
last.
out. This is it. To close out the conversation.
Oh no, it's definitely in my top five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's in that
Um,
top five?
the Walking Dead.
Yep. Telltale's The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh. The first one. Um, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
The
Okay.
Last of Us one.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, well, the Uncharted series.
Yeah. I know. I'm like.
Yeah. And God of War.
I think you just threw
I
out
think that was
six.
six. I think
Yeah.
that was six.
Okay.
So, yeah. What about for you? Where would it?
It's up there. I think that I personally would still rank. I think for me it goes The Last of Us, and I'm gonna put I'll do it. I'll put The Last of Us remastered,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was just a better version of The Last of
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
That's number one for me.
Yeah. Me too. It's my number one.
Yeah, definitely. Number two is God of War for me.
I knew you liked that one.
Yeah, God, love God of War. But again, it's you had this great companion almost the entire time, and we talked about that before, like of how much more like enriching the experience
Yes.
is whenever you have this really great companion, and like the way that the games work these days, and like the AI of your companion is just so great now. It's amazing.
Yeah, compared to Ellie was in the first one, where she was mostly a lot of times in the way.
Yeah, but even hell, even that game.
No, I mean it was
go
still, it
back
was
to
beautiful. It was perfect. The
yeah,
game was great.
go back to older games where you had a companion. You're just like, oh god, the companion got me freaking killed again.
Yes.
Because they just kept dying over and over again, or like they would just be in trouble. And then I think it would be followed up by The Last of Us Part Two.
Really,
Yeah.
more than Clementine
Yes.
and Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, would I put? Well, because then, like for me, like Resident Evil 1 probably comes in after that, um, and then probably Resident Evil 4. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think The Last of Us Part Two it wasn't the experience that God of War was for me the first time playing through God of War,
Yeah.
and it wasn't the same experience for me as The Last of Us 1.
Yeah.
But it's like right there, neck and neck. So, thought it was
Okay.
great. Yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad you liked it that much.
Yeah, it was good. All right. Well, that wraps up our rambling discussion.
This is the precursor to our conversations that we'll have in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad. I would like to do like some trailer reactions of some random video games.
Yes, it would be nice. Yeah.
to watch those for a little bit, and then yeah, maybe you still do a little bit of a playthrough with The Last of Us Part Two video or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Throw that up on the channel, but let us know your thoughts. Again, these were just really, they're not scripted, obviously. Like we neither one of us had any notes. We just wanted to get our
Yeah.
thoughts out there in the world on,
Well, it was super fresh.
yeah, for The Last of Us Part Two. So yeah, just let us know all your thoughts. What did you think of the game? Where does it rank for you? What'd you like? What you didn't like? Yeah, let us know all those thoughts in the comment
Yeah.
box down below. If you made it this far,
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
yeah, you're the best,
Yeah.
and we love your face. So, all right, well, thanks so much, and y'all have a fantastic rest of your day.
Bye bye.